Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this webinar on Arkema and how they use the single wagons and how they manage to improve their performance in this aspect. My name is Valérie Deman. I'm the product marketing manager at EverySense, and I am pleased to have Damien Roussel here with me. Damien, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, Valerie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me in this webinar. So I'm Damien Roussel. I'm a group supply chain digital project manager. And yeah, I'm working on a lot of digital projects such as track and trace, connectivity, automation in Arkema. And yeah, I have been working with EverySense since April 2020, and we have done a great job together, and it's what we are going to explain you today.
It's great to hear this feedback from you, Damien, and we are longing to hear more about this project. Um, I think Arkema, we don't need to present the company anymore, but I think I would like to introduce EverySense briefly. So for those who do not know us yet, we provide real digital solutions for shippers. Um, we do that with single wagons, with block trains, with intermodal. And our solution is what we call a transport visibility management system, because we believe that to have a strong TMS, you need to infuse real-time events into the processes. And this means having a smart planning, taking into account what's happening in the field, dispatch features to make sure that the train departures are going well, ETA progress, insights. But today, within all of those processes, we wanted to zoom in on a specific use case, to zoom in on ETA because it is very important for our customers and their customers, and especially because it has a big impact on planning and fleet forecast. But when it comes to single wagons, it is particularly painful, and we will look into that specific aspect today with Damien. So we will focus more on the visibility part with this concrete use case in the chemical industry. And that's why I'm glad to be getting Damien's feedback on the project. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get onto the real content. So we are going to be together for 45 minutes. Within those 45 minutes, we will have 30 minutes of presentation and discussion between Damien and I. And then we will keep 15 minutes at the end for your questions. So here in the live storm, you see that you have a questions tab. So please don't hesitate to hit us with your questions, with your remarks, and we'll be glad to answer them at the end of the webinar. So we'll try to keep it interactive. I will be sending out polls as well to get your opinion on different things. So I just published one in the poll tab to know whether you are familiar with single wagons, as this is going to help us adapt what we are talking about. So without further ado, let's dive into the actual content and the use case of Arkema. So first, I would like to know, Damien, have a bit of an overview of why Arkema is using single wagons, why Arkema is using rail, and why was there a need for more performance. So perhaps we can start with you giving an overview of your logistics plan at Arkema so that we know really what's at stake here.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Valerie. So yeah, we in Arkema, so we ship rail cars, single wagon, single rail cars from 10 sites across Europe. So mainly in France, Germany, and Netherlands. So our fleet is between 500 and 550 rail car. Few of them we really own them, but the other ones we rent them. And the quantity of deliveries we have every year is about 3,000, even a bit more now. And if we want to make some comparison, one rail car, one wagon represent 2.5 trucks. So yeah, usually a rail car is about 63 tons, and a truck something like 24.
Mm.
So also why the rail is critical for Arkema. It's for some of our products we cannot ship by road, so it's mandatory for us because it's hazardous goods and it's too dangerous to go on with this product like chlorine. So we have to ship by rail. And also we push also for using more and more the rail transportation for carbon dioxide emission. So it's really less consumption of carbon dioxide. It's about 4 to 5 times less. It's Arkema estimation. Maybe sometimes some people have different estimation, but in Arkema we talk about 4 to 5 times less carbon. So when we are able to ship on both trucks and rail, we try to push as much as possible the rail transportation.
Okay. Okay, so very interesting. So you have quite a big rail operations in Europe in different countries using the single wagons. And what I gather is it's really important for you given the dangerous aspect of some of the freight that you are using, and also an environmentally friendly strategy that is carried out by the group. Now, I want to take a bit of a step back before we go further into the use case, and maybe for the audience that is here today, it's always nice to put things into perspective, and I would like to present a bit the current context around single wagons, and first maybe define a bit what single wagons is. So, as you know, we have three main modes of operation for freight trains. We have the full train, we have multimodal, and we have the single wagon. And single wagon, as its name describes, is transporting individual wagons, which are then assembled to form trains that we call diffuse trains in marshalling yards. And so wagons from various companies in a given region are collected and brought together in a marshalling yard and run to another yard where they are rebundled to finally go to their final destination, as we see in this drawing here. So, of course, given those sorting operations that appear that happen at several points during the path, full trains are going to be faster. And diffuse trains, so the trains that transport the single wagons, are going to be slower because of those sorting operations. But still, we have many uses for the single wagon. Mainly, so typically we have 3 or 4 industries that are still using the single wagons. We have steel, we have vehicle manufacturers, and of course we have the chemical industry that are very big users, as we just saw with Damien. And I just wanted to give you a couple of figures around the weight of single wagons in Europe. So for single wagon loads, it represents 25 to 30% of all rail traffic in Europe, expressed in ton kilometers. But it's very different depending on what country you are considering. So, for example, in France, we are only at 12%, whereas in Germany, for the latest figures that I found, it's more in the average of Europe with 26%. And in some other countries, it has completely disappeared. So very different depending on the market you are in. And most of those single wagon loads traffic is also cross-border, which is going to be important in the use case that we are presenting today, because it's one obstacle to visibility. So yes, on paper, single wagon load is also a gateway to massification for companies that do not have enough freight to do a full train. So it's really a good opportunity for a company that would like to do rail, but that does not have enough freight to reduce the CO2 emissions and to choose a more carbon-friendly transportation mode, but there is still much complexity, as we saw in single wagons. And I think that Damien, you can really weigh in on this and explain a bit what your pain points were, what issues did you have with single wagons?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Valerie. Just to what I didn't mention is that yeah, we ship from several countries, but all across Europe. Sometimes we don't think about it, but we ship to, for example, Sweden, to Czech Republic. So it's really we send some rare cars, some single wagon everywhere in Europe. And sometimes it's really difficult to track, and we have a lot of pain points. So before we use tracking with every sense, it was really tough to get the information, the basic information. Where is my rare car? So it's what I'm explaining here. So the operational pain points, the first priority we have is to know where is the rare car for security and safety. So in case of issue, we need to have the information quickly to be able to react. Um, Also, what's difficult with the rail car is we don't know in advance what will be the detailed transport plan, on which train it will go, and etc. So it's really difficult to have visibility and to understand when it's going to arrive to our customer. And the second pain point we want to answer is related to the quality of service we provide to the customer. Uh, Sometimes when our customer asks us where is the rail car, it's a bit difficult for us. It was a bit difficult for us to answer. It takes a lot of phone calls, especially sometimes we ship, for example, in France from Freight SNCF, but it's going to Germany and Sweden. So there is other rail company taking care of it. And sometimes the Freight SNCF has difficulties to have the information. And so with the track and trace, with IoT equipped on the rail car, and with this visibility, we can provide quickly some information to our customer. So we save a lot of time with this solution. So when we have talked about operation pain points, so for day-to-day life, we want also to improve and to have some assessment about the performance. Before, it was a bit difficult to have the data. Now we track our fleet, and we can have a really detailed statistic about the performance of our flow. So it means we can work on our fleet productivity, how we increase the the turnaround and the cycle time of the rail car between us and our customer. And we can also challenge the performance of the rail company that are transporting our rail car. So with this data, we have really valuable data to challenge our partners.
Absolutely. So before getting the data, of course, you were kind of facing a black box in terms of quality of service, not being able to say precisely to the customers where the deliveries are, and also in terms of performance monitoring, having a objective, neutral, and real-time data makes it much easier, of course. So yeah, we see that from what you're telling, that the visibility subject is not only one of operations, but it's also strategic, a strategic subject for most companies. And so I assume that once you've identified those pain points, it's at that point that you decided to look out for a rail solution to manage your single wagon logistics.
Yeah, exactly. So
Can you tell us a bit more why you chose Every Sense in particular?
exactly. So what we were looking is a solution that is independent, with really good expertise in rail, because calculate an ETA for railcar and silver wagon is not something easy. So we have been interested by Eversense because they have a lot of expertise in the rail industry, yeah, logistics and track and trace. So it's why we start to talk with you. Also, what we discover during this project is that the rail company we rent the rail cars, the wagon, they are already equipping their rail car with GPS. So the strategy we decide to have is to push our rail car rental company to install and to all our fleet and basically to gather this data in one single tool. We didn't want to be dependent to some solution from the railcar company. We wanted something central, neutral, and to have no issue of sharing data, to negotiate with the car rental, to push the data from one solution to another one. We want something really independent. Also, what was good about Eversense is that they were already connected with the tracker solution on the market used for rail tracking. So that was also a key point. So basically, when we decide to go, it was really easy to like turn on the solution and to
Mm-hmm.
start to have some visibility. And
Yeah.
as we mentioned before, also you have the capability to calculate ETA for single wagons.
Yes, absolutely. Because um, IoT data is not, of course, the single thing that we do, but it's the key data, the key to get real time data, and so you can actually get it very easily through the wagon rental companies. But since many shippers have many wagon rental companies, then you need some place to aggregate all of this data, clean it up, and have the real intelligence behind. And so that's what we provide with Arkema. So the project began in April 2020, and I think first it was with real-time tracking, and then we continued with ETAs. Can you give us a bit more detail about those two features, the rail tracking on the one hand and the ETA on the other hand, and how it changed your processes in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, yeah, for sure the first thing we try and we really adopt quickly is to be able to identify in real time where is my rail car. So why we needed that is, as I mentioned, is to inform our customer, but also to track the quantity of rail car that are at some in our plants, also in our customers. So we have an inventory. It's also to start to look at maybe some rail car that are stuck for more than 1, 2, 3 days to um, some station. So we really yeah, use that to see where is our fleet, what is the situation of our fleet at this time. And then after, yeah, you develop and you provide an ETA. So the ETA is the step further. So it's not only okay, where is it now, but when it's going to arrive to our customer. So it's you will explain later a bit more about the ETA calculation, and I think we got already some question about that. But we really want to have this ETA to say to our customer, okay, the rail car is here and it should be arrived on this date. So in rail and single wagon, we look more for days and not really time and I mean minutes and hours it's going to arrive. But we wanted really to provide this visibility to our customer. And during that project, also we work with Eversense on the way back. Why it's important to have ETA when it's going to be back? It's because we can start to plan which rail car will be back, we will fill with this product and we will send to this customer. And then we can work on the rotation optimization, and we can improve the fleet efficiencies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that, so I understand that it's important again for the operational aspects of where is the wagon, and then you can move on to logistics action, communication actions with your partners, but also for the customers and your logistics performance as a whole. Um, I think also you had, when we talked and we prepared this webinar, you had an anecdote about the visibility and how it helped you, especially in this specific context that we are facing now in Europe.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, when the Ukraine war started, yeah, we really got this question. Okay, do we have any Reka in Ukraine? And in 1 minute we have been able to check and to see that it was not the case. So no specific action to take to get back. But if without every sense and without with this IoT visibility, it would have been really more difficult to answer this question. And maybe I can talk about how we were doing before having IoTs and every sense. So we were working internally with a lot of Excel files to track the information we have about the rail car. So with asking to Freight SNCF, to DB Cargo, where are the rail car. Also, the issue is that that kind of company, they have good visibility. They have good visibility on what they are doing, what they are mastering. So the record they are managing. But when it comes to record handled by Lineas from Freight SNCF, it can become more difficult with IoT and GPS location real time. For us, it's really easier to have the information. And also by the past, we had often some question from our customer, where is the RECA? And we have so much phone call to take to pass and to ask before providing a good acceptable information to our customer. Now we become really faster to provide information to our customers.
Yeah, so it's really simplifying the collaboration process in your work. So I see that already we have a lot of questions around the ETA and how it works in particular. So that's specifically what we wanted to tackle now. So I think that most of the questions are from people that are actually operating single wagons in their job. So as you know, there are several obstacles on the visibility of those single wagons. First, Arkema, for example, does not know what specific path the single wagon is going to take. So what is the itinerary? We do not really know. A single wagon is also associated with different trains during its journey to the destination. So that's another obstacle. And also, the single wagon is going to be subject to prolonged stops in the marshalling yards and maybe at the client's premises as well. So there are those obstacles, and what we did is that we created an ETA algorithm that relies on different sources of data to manage to get an ETA for single wagons. So the sources of data, we have real-time GPS information. We have carrier information as well. So specifically for the empty back, we get the information from the carrier directly as to when it's going to leave and what the transport is supposed to be. And then the last source of data that we use, another main source of the data that we use, is that we have the largest database of known points of interest for rail in Europe. And so then based on those data, we implement machine learning algorithms to learn each path that a transport can take for a specific origin destination for this single wagon operating mode. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of how we do it, and then we can dig a bit further, because I think we'll have more questions after that. But I want to move further with Damien's feedback. So just a quick summary of this part. We have real-time wagon tracking, and then we have ETA for single wagon, both for the outbound transport and then for the empty back. And the two main advantages of that is that you can organize the unloading at destination sites, and you can also notify the customers and take corrective actions in terms of if in case there is a delay. Now this is very like on the spot reaction. If there is a delay, what do you do now? But this data, it can also allow you to have longer term actions and longer term optimization. So Damien, maybe you can talk a bit about that and what this data allowed you to do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the first thing it allows us to do is I start to explain a bit, is to work on the fleet productivity and to make it more efficient. So right now we implement some process, for example, to react as soon as the rail car is stops outside of a customer or outside of Arkema for more than 1 day. So we tag it in a retention, and we have a close look to it to understand if it's normal or if there is something wrong to tackle with the rail company. So then, okay, right now we are in a, I would say, difficult supply chain situation. So we all face issue. So our initial target, it was to have some fleet decrease. Right now, I cannot say we decrease a lot of fleet, because basically also the sales is quite growing. It's a good thing, and also we can have some strikes, we can have some lot of issue. So we didn't really decrease the fleet, but what we did, we really uh, better use our rail car right now, and we have more visibility to react in case we have some issue. Also, what we start to do is we work closely with the rail company, and we really challenge them on what they can start to commit on delivery time. So we really look at what they are able to do. We monitor if there is any deviation. What's difficult with rail is it's not only that it's taking sometimes to arrive to a customer. Is the most difficult part is sometimes it's taking 5 days, and some other time it can take 15 days. So if I ship to my customer 5 days before they were expecting, it's an issue for them, because they have to manage the rail car. Usually, it can happen is they reject to take it, so it stay at the rail car close to the plant. So our target is really to try to better understand our rail paths, and to limit this kind of deviation we can have between one transport and another one. And also, after we do that, we also look at all this historical data, and try to analyze where are, for example, the nodes or the station we have some issue, to address some specific action with the rail company. Can we find another path to go to our customer? challenge what is happening at this station. So it's all the kind of work now we can do with the data we get from IoT and every sense.
Mhm. So both fleet productivity optimization, transport network optimization, kind of, and also yeah, shaping the transport schedule in terms of when is it most efficient to ship a wagon based on the historic data that you get. Perfect. Thank you, Damien, for so much for this, for those insights on the longer term actions. And finally, the questions many all shippers are asking, of course, is how do you estimate the ROI for such a project? And we do not have much time left, but I believe that we can still tackle some of those points. So yes, the floor is yours as to how you estimated this ROI.
Yeah, at the beginning of projects, so we identify several one. Okay, we have two first. Maybe now it's difficult sometimes to estimate. So the first is the time we will save to for customer service. So no doubt we save some time. We are sure after we don't analyze in the detail how much. The second part we were expecting to save money was the fleet reduction, the 5% fleet reduction. In fact, with the supply chain situation and also the increase of the sales, we didn't reduce, but at least we didn't increase. But where we really find some big ROI is for the immobilization, so the standing time at our customers. So in Arkema, we start to have in most of our customer contracts some time they should keep the rail car. So for example, if it's 10 days, if they keep the rail car for 15 days to store their product in our rail car, we start to charge them some penalties. So right now it's quite significant for Arkema because with IoT and GPS data, so we have kind of a point of truth. So we really know when it's arrived to our customer facility and when it has moved out. So it's difficult for them to challenge the data we provide. So it makes really easy for us to for
And
this.
I
Yes.
assume it's also an incentive for them to keep the wagons less long and work on this behavior as well.
Yeah, and the consequence is to having more, the fleet optimization. We improve the rotation, etc. And the second point, we got a lot of benefits is the modal shift. I think we will talk about it, but for some product, okay, we have to ship by rail, but for some other, we have the two options, by road or by rail. And we have carbon dioxide reduction, but also the cost of rail shipment is lower than road shipment. We can discuss, but it's about 30% left. And by this way, with increasing the ratio of product we ship by rail, basically we have some good savings in Arkema. So we get both benefit, the carbon reduction plus the price, the cost reduction. So
Who would say no to that?
yeah. And as mentioned here, single source of truth. We have data. It's difficult to challenge. Yes, sometimes IoT can stop to provide some information. Some specific area, the network is not so good, or sometimes you can have an issue, a collision or something like that, and you need to replace your IoT. But I can say that right now, 89 90% of fleet is tracked, and so when we don't know where is it and when it's arrived to our customer. So for the example I provide, we just don't charge anything in that case because we don't have the data to certify when it's arrived or not.
Yeah. Okay. So many strategic ROI levers. First, that well, you have now with EverySense, you have really a control tower, a TVMS that you can gather all the data into and really start collaborating and doing continuous improvements with your ecosystem. And also the fact that digitization for you enabled modal shift, and you are able to do to gain trust in rail and do more rail thanks to this newfound reliability of rail flows. Maybe Aurélien, maybe Damien, very quickly, can we speak about what's next between Arkema and EverySense?
Yeah, we are still working for some optimization. So we are working with EverySense to optimize also the user journey, because we should not forget about the user, the customer service, the logistics team. But also we have a project that which is open. So I can see the question. We are working mainly with Freight SNCF, but not only. But yeah, we have so SNCF is a big partner, and we open uh, yeah, third party project, three parties project. And the idea is to share data between Arkema, EverySense, and Freight SNCF to work even more on the optimization. For example, we would like EverySense to maybe collect more information. What will be the path of the rail car? Right now, the ETA is based on some analysis intelligence, but if we feed the algorithm with more data, the ETA can become more accurate.
Yes, so many great steps ahead of us. Thank you, thanks a lot, Damien, for all of this knowledge on single wagons and how to improve the performance. And I propose that we now go on to the questions because there are lots of them. So maybe we can start with. The question about I saw questions about the rental companies and how many do you have, and how are you dealing with this fleet?
Yeah, so we have five, and they have different GPS technologies. So yeah, EverySense connect to the five type of GPS quite quickly with the ITSS standard for
Mhm.
the rail industry. So it was not an issue during the project. That part was really quickly. What is more difficult is to have your whole fleet equipped. So this is taking time, and it's project management. But
Yeah.
connecting the GPS is easy.
Yeah, most of the wagon rental companies do have already those GPS devices, so then we can integrate the data stream really easily into EverySense. I see another question regarding the accuracy of the ETA. Are you evaluating the accuracy of the ETA at different steps of the transport? And are you confident to schedule loading operation at your plant based on ETA of the return? Maybe I can take the first part of the question and then you can take the second. So regarding the accuracy of the ETA, yes, we have. So the ETA is first calculated at departure. So before the train even leaves, you can already have a first ETA that is already more precise than the announcement by the carrier, and then. As the single wagon progresses, this ETA is updated automatically by the system, by our intelligence. And I think this answers also one of the other questions regarding who updates the ETA. So it's automatic, and it's EverySense. Our machine learning algorithm is going to update that automatically. So yes, it's always on. At departure, you get a first idea, and then it's always updated so that you still have visibility, and it's getting more and more precise, of course, as it closes destination.
Okay. And for the second
Yeah.
question, how we handle, I think when they are back to plan, to replan how we will feel. To be honest, right now we are just at the beginning of this functionality, and we need to deep dive. But what I can share is, yeah, for sure, the team, the plant is looking to this data to have a visibility of when the rail car should be back. After, I cannot say we have a really strong process right now to handle that and to automatize a bit more how we plan this, but it's something we would work on in the future.
Mhm. I see another question here about the data privacy and how do you guarantee it? Is it something that you looked into? I assume that as a big corporate group, it's something that you did not neglect.
Yeah, you're right. It's really a good question. We are back to the fact that it's a dangerous good, and we have real-time GPS location in the in some web interface. So we really strongly request to guarantee every sense the safety and the security of this data in Arkema. So you cannot connect with just a login and a password. Uh, you basically we put what we call a single sign-on, and in the near future we will have a double authentication. So right now to connect in Arkema to our data, you need to be connected through the Arkema VPN, and soon you will need to confirm you with your mobile phone to enter in your in the platform. And also we push, because we push also to the rental company and their GPS provider to go for a double authentication, because yeah, the data is at some point available to the source, to the solution, to every sense, and to Arkema. So we need to have on this three-party good data security to not have any breach. But it's really a key point. It's sensitive data, and we need to be really careful about it.
Yes. I see a question regarding what is the flexibility in terms of change of planning of the transport related to the constraints sites and the stock management. This is specifically what I was when I was presenting every sense. So I was saying that we are a TVMS, so Transport Visibility and Management System. So that means that the visibility stands for, of course, real-time visibility, but also those kind of constraints that we are able to integrate into all of the processes. So we do take that into account. Damien, I see a question for you here. How do you do daily follow-up of your wagons? Do you get alerts for the delayed cars, and how does it look like for someone operating the wagons in their daily job?
Yeah. So right now, yeah, we have implemented a process to have really a daily check. Uh, Daily check from the team. So they really go every day. At least the logistic team go every day in the platform to check what is in retention, what is late. After, for the customer service, they connect just when they need to provide some information to our customer. And also, we in our project we mentioned with Fret SNCF, so we started to share the data with Fret SNCF, and we start to ask Fret SNCF to have a close look to our data and to react before we ask to them if something is delay, or yeah, there is some retention somewhere. But I think it's also linked to another question, and we ask them to do that not only for the rail car they are operating, but also when they are subcontracting to Lineas or DB Cargo, they should also take some action. So
Mm.
we start to ask more proactivity from everybody, all the actors.
Mm-hmm. Damien, I think another question that is interesting to tackle is how is EverySense integrated into your IT ecosystem? What are the integrations?
Yeah, so we basically not at the beginning of the project, but in the second step of the project, we decided, yeah, to connect with our system, with SAP, basically. So what is happening is when we are doing the good issue in SAP, so we send same kind of document with lettre de voiture. I'm not sure in English what is the correct.
Freight letter or consignment note, yes.
So freight letter, yeah, we send this information to EverySense, and from this time, they can track the transport. So we send the information, departure site, arrival site, when is sent, and the rail car ID, and from that point, EverySense is able to track and to calculate the ETA.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Damien, for all of those insights. I believe it is already time for us to go our separate ways. But that was very nice to have all of you with us today. I am going to send a link in the chat. With this link, you can get the success story that we had. So it's a PDF document that is going to summarize what we talked about here with Arkema today. So it summarizes the project between EverySense and Arkema. You simply have to input your email address to access it and download the PDF file. I think that what this showed us today with Damien is that we often hesitate to say really the ROI of real-time tracking. How is it really important? In fact, it is actually super important because we can then insert all of this data back into continuous improvement, all the processes, the planning, the fleet forecast. So this data is going to feed the rest of the processes. And also, when you use that for rail specifically, it's going to give you much more trust in this transportation mode. And so it is, digitization is in this aspect a real enabler of modal shift. And that's to transition to a world of less CO2 and where rail is taking a central space in logistics. Thank you everyone who joined the webinar, and of course you can join me and Damien on LinkedIn, and we are available to answer any of the questions that you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Valérie.
Thank you, Damien.